Welcome back to Demigod Debut. I'm Mal, Annabeth Chase apologist and longtime Percy Jackson fan.
And I'm Julie, Rachel Elizabeth Dare defender forever.
Honestly, valid, and so am I. And this is a podcast where Julie reads Battle of the Labyrinth for the first time, and we get to discuss the most iconic chapter of all time, We Hire a New Guide. And we are joined this week by one of the hosts of my favorite Percy Jackson podcast, Shh, Don't Tell the Others. It's Erin of Camp Half Pod. Hello.
Oh my gosh. What an honor. Thank you so much. I will tell everyone, actually. Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm excited to be here to talk about this chapter because it is iconic. I love it so much.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your Demigod debut, or like how you got introduced to Percy Jackson?
I would love to. I've read it probably when I was in middle school slash late elementary school. Around the time that it came out, I read it. And then I reread it during the pandemic, as a lot of people did, kind of going back to their childhood favorites. And my co-host, who's one of my best friends, Monisa, she has read these books like a million times. And so we were like, should we start a podcast? And that's what prompted me to read the other series as well, because I hadn't read Heroes of Olympus until 2020. And so yeah, I kind of dove deep into it from then onwards, but I've always loved the series and I adored it as a kid.
Fantastic. Would you also like to share your unique qualifications for joining us for this episode, or do you want to save it till later? Do you remember what you messaged me?
I do. I kind of forgot. I had messaged Mal and I was like, I was in a love triangle when I was in high school, so this is relevant for me personally.
God.
That's like part of my lore. I don't know that like it's as important lore to some of the other members of the love triangle, but like it was part of my own character development. So I really like feel for Annabeth and for Rachel in this situation.
I love that.
I love them both.
They're both incredible. Incredible women.
They are. Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Also, just some context for this episode. We are recording this on Friday, November 8th, 2024, the end of like the longest week of all time. I don't know that any of us really anticipated the horrors that this week would bring, and feels a little weird to just talk about Percy Jackson. So if the vibes are off, well, it's just another thing that man has ruined. Because, we had to go out and elect a fascist, which has really just put a damper on things. Anyway, if the vibes are bad, it's probably fitting, because the vibes are sort of atrocious between Percy and Annabeth in this chapter, so it's only right.
An expert transition.
Beautiful, Mal. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so chapter 13, We Hire a New Guide. An iconic chapter. We last left off with Percy leaving Calypso, and also, side note, Erin,
Yes.
what are your thoughts on Calypso? Because I don't remember, and this was pretty contentious for us.
Honestly, I feel like I'm like, what are my thoughts on Calypso? Who knows? I remember not liking her when I read it as a kid because, it was like, I'm gonna hate women because I want Percy to be with Annabeth. But I do really feel for her in this being stuck on the island. And I feel like I can't say anything else without giving anything away because I know, Julie, you haven't read you don't know spoilers, but I feel like she's a really interesting character, just like in Percy's development and like understanding of how the gods treat other people slash godly figures. I'm intrigued by what was your contentious debate or contentious discussion?
I was kind of like, I support women, but for some reason that does not extend to Calypso for me. She is like one of the only female characters in this book that I'm just like, get her away from me. I cannot.
Wow.
Fake feminist over here.
And Julie is pro Calypso.
I love Calypso. I feel bad for her.
Yeah, I think I'm pro as like an adult. I think when I read it as a kid, I was like, who is this? Like, get her out of here. But I enjoy her as an adult.
It's not even about the coming in between Percy and Annabeth.
Are you sure?
Yes, I promise. Listen, I love Rachel, and Rachel is the one who is the more pressing threat at this moment, but
Rachel is so queer coded though. Like,
absolutely, 100%.
Right?
not a
Right?
real threat.
Yeah.
No, see, because I was kind of thinking, it's like, if Percy had never come back, like, because I know, Julie, you've been campaigning for them to just kill off Percy because it would be interesting. Like, if they killed off Percy, then Annabeth and Rachel could fall in love, and
True.
I think that would also be a pretty excellent story.
That'd be great.
Yeah. I'm just saying, someone write the AO3. I'm ready.
Shake up the love triangle a little
Yeah.
bit. Like, these two
Yeah.
girls are fighting for a man. Oh, actually, surprise, we fell in love with each other.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I would read that.
You know that's on AO3. It's definitely on AO3. And I would read that. Yeah.
Oh, someone has written it.
Many people.
Somebody send the link in the comments,
Yeah.
please.
If you know of this, please. Okay, so Percy's got his little magic raft and he makes it to Camp Half-Blood. He also, like, he just drops some very interesting details sometimes. Like, he's like, two sharks just kind of steered me there. Like, that's such a wild detail to just drop and say nothing about. And then when he gets there, camp is pretty empty, but he sees smoke coming from the amphitheater and knows it's too early for a campfire, so he heads towards it, only to walk into his own funeral. Iconic. Also, kind of a lifelong dream of mine. So if either of you are interested in helping me fake my death so I can crash my own funeral, let me know. I think it would be fun.
I'm there.
It's like the
Yeah.
happiest anyone would ever be to see me. But also, if I walked into my funeral and the girl that I liked was saying really nice things about me in front of everyone, I would probably die on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Who's this girl, Mal?
I plead the fifth.
The way that Percy just like is honestly pretty casual about returning to his funeral is wild. I would probably just hide for a bit and watch. I'd be like, I want to see what the vision was, where you guys were going with this, and then make my entrance.
Right, yeah. But then I would want the entrance to be grand. I would want to
Yeah.
I'm picturing like wedding style. The music changes and I come walking down the center aisle and I'm like, she lives.
Also, 2 weeks. I feel like they kind of rushed it a little bit. They were like, he's been gone for 2 weeks. Oh, he must be dead. Like, really? Is that what we're doing? Like, I feel like they could have given him more time.
I mean, there was a volcanic explosion. There's a line in the prophecy that says destroy with the hero's final breath. Like
Meh.
it lines up why they
No.
assumed that he was dead.
People have been missing longer though.
No, you're right.
It just feels short. Like a month maybe.
That's
I
true.
would say yeah. But 2 weeks?
Well, and I feel like Annabeth could have reached out to our friend Eurydian at the ranch and been like, hey, can Nico help me out here? Like, tell me, is Percy dead?
A little rush, just saying.
Now that I'm thinking about that. Also, I want to ask, if you were to like crash your own funeral, what would you hope to walk in on? Like what's your dream funeral? Yes.
Ooh, I feel like because it would be just sad to see all my loved ones being sad, but I would love to see like my enemies being sad. Not that I really have enemies, but just like anyone who's ever like mildly wronged me, I'd like to see them grieving me and talking about how great I was. And then I'll be like, psych.
Surprise.
And then they might hate me more, but like anyone who's ever said anything mean about me, I want them to be sad.
Yeah, see, I would like to know what people had to say because I feel like a lot of times people just say things at a funeral like, "Oh, she was such a delight. She like lit up a room." I'm like, "No, she was in bed at 9 most nights and like liked to watch TV." I don't
Like she was a pleasure to have in class. That's what I'll get at my funeral.
Oh, and I am.
Yeah, I am.
Every day.
I think I just want a lot of hot people crying, like very upset. Be like, it's a real tragedy that I'm gone, and all these hot people are really sad. And then I come back wearing like, I don't know, something that like Fran Fine would wear, like something really hot. That's my dream.
Yes. Do you know what that just reminded me of?
Hmm.
You know the episode of Friends where they like in their college something it like they get the false information that like Ross is dead and so then he makes Chandler throw him a funeral. Do you remember this or do you only watch the early 90s 5 seasons, Julie?
I'm sure I've seen the episode at least once, but I don't remember it.
Yeah, there's like a hot girl who shows up and is like, "Oh, I wish I had talked to him in college." And then he like appears from out of the door and he's like, you can still date me. And she's like, what is wrong with you? I feel like that would be you
Yeah.
at the like hot people funeral. You would waltz in, you're like, anyone want this? And it would be like,
They're all
what's
like,
wrong with you?
you're such a freak. Like, God, why would you fake your own funeral?
I gotta fake my own funeral to see what the streets are saying about me.
Yes, exactly.
But Percy also doesn't hear a whole lot of his funeral. Like he walks up and Chiron is saying that we have to assume that he's dead because it's been so long, but like it's only been 2 weeks. And Annabeth has been asked to do the final honors, and Percy says she looks terrible, like she's been crying. And one thing I love about Miss Girl, Annabeth Chase, she's so emotional. And I love that we don't just ignore that in the books. I mean, people online and things tend to ignore that like Annabeth Chase has feelings, but like she cries at least once a book.
Oh yeah.
And it's never portrayed as this like negative thing, but she cries all the time. And that's important to me because I also cry all the time.
Representation for people who cry all the time. So like,
Yeah.
I agree.
Like the realest one to me is when she cries like saying goodbye to Cerberus in the underworld. Like, me too, girl. I would cry saying goodbye to a cute dog that I met once. Anyway, I love Annabeth and nothing she's ever done has been wrong ever.
Preach.
And her little funeral speech. I wish we got more of it, but unfortunately, she sees Percy. But Percy says, like, her eyes are puffy from crying, but she manages to say, he was probably the bravest friend I ever had. He ... And, like, that's all that we get, because then she sees Percy. But, number one, the fact that Percy's like, oh, she managed to say, like, poor girl can barely get the words out. But, like, she wasn't about to let anyone else do this little eulogy. And then also second, the word friend is doing a lot of work here because literally the last time she saw him, she kissed him. And so we all know you feel more than a friend about him. They're not more than friends, but also like we know that's where she wants to be headed. And so like saying the friend, I'm like, friend. He's your bravest friend.
This poor girl, like she kisses him and then he goes and spends 2 weeks with like this hot magical goddess. And then she thinks he's dead. And then, I mean, like in this chapter, he gets back and he's like, let's go contact Rachel, who's like her enemy right now for Percy. Just poor girl, just going through it.
Yeah. And he also, like, we don't bring up the kiss at all. Like, we're not talking about it at all. Instead, it's like, oh, he's been with this other girl and now he wants to go find a third separate girl. Message received. I appreciate the way that it says her face goes red as soon as she sees him because, God forbid that this boy that you've literally kissed hears you saying good things about him. Like, God forbid that he knows that you have feelings.
So real.
And it's also very funny that everyone is excited to see him but the Aries cabin.
That's pretty good.
Which feels right. And there's also the way that Chiron says he doesn't think he's ever been happier to see a camper return. Which is either really crazy favoritism or campers don't come back that often.
Probably both, honestly. A little bit of both.
Probably both. But it does kind of make me wonder, like, Chiron as a teacher, what kind of students are his favorites? Because some teachers prefer the, like, little shit students who are, like, fun and have personality, and then some teachers are like, I like the teacher's pets. Because I feel like that's kind of the vibes of Percy and Annabeth. Like, you've got Annabeth kind of the teacher's pet, and then Percy kind of the one who would be sassy and, like, fun to banter with. So, like, does Chiron just like all the students, or...
What's your favorite, Mal?
I don't have favorites.
Oh.
Legally,
going on record.
we'd never have favorites. Actually, my favorite student, as I tell my students, my favorite student is any student who has read Percy Jackson.
How many of them have read it? Are the youth doing their reading these days?
Quite a few have.
Good to hear.
I had one last year reading The End of the Burning Maze in my class, and I was like,
oh my
hey,
gosh.
for both of our sakes, I'm gonna take this. And like you can have it back at the end because I don't need you to experience this right now in class.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh jeez. I'm just like, I have no idea. Now I'm like, okay.
What are you in for?
And I feel okay saying it because I know you will forget. And if we ever get there,
Very true.
you're not going to remember it by then.
But now I have to spite you and write this down so that I remember if we ever get there. Who knows?
Yeah.
I can't believe you talked me into reading this many books, actually. I'm kind of impressed.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Honestly, I didn't know we were going to get this far, but here we are.
Here we are.
What's next in our silly little funeral scene? Annabeth shoving her way through the crowd to come and yell at Percy, and once again, because parallels, he's like, I thought she was gonna punch me, but instead she just like gives him a crushing hug, and then she kind of realizes that they have an audience and does the classic we thought you were dead, seaweed brain, hitting him with that like I to we switch up and then the snarky nickname, because once again, God forbid the boy that you literally kiss know that you care. And Percy says he got lost, and Annabeth lets us know that it's been 2 weeks. And so, very good guess from you, Julie, because that's exactly what you said last time.
Yes, thank you.
And Chiron makes them take this conversation somewhere more private, because I'm sure he sees where this is going. And Percy doesn't tell them about Calypso. He just says that he was marooned on an island. But, lying by omission is still lying, Perseus.
A little more suspicious. Like if I were Annabeth, I'd be like,
yeah,
what aren't you telling? Like you couldn't have just been on an island by yourself.
Well, and I'm a little bit like, if you feel like you didn't do anything wrong, why aren't you telling her?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, I don't actually think he did anything wrong, but it is fun to give him a hard time.
Yeah.
And then Annabeth says when she heard the explosion, she thought ... And I really think she was thinking of that line in her prophecy, the destroy with a hero's final breath, and thinking about how, killing yourself, blowing up a volcano to destroy a bunch of Telkines does in fact fit. Or possibly it could be the mysterious final line that we haven't learned yet. Who knows? And then Percy tells them that they'll need a mortal's help to navigate the labyrinth, and we get one of the most nuts historical references in the series here.
So wild.
Chiron says that there's precedent for using a mortal in the labyrinth because Harriet Tubman, daughter of Hermes, used many mortals on her underground railroad to help navigate.
Like Rick needs to be stopped.
I'm sorry, what? Did I just miss that whole part?
I think you might have.
It's like it's a sentence. It's a single sentence. It's so offhanded.
I must have missed that honestly when I was reading today, because what?
Yeah.
Oh God. This is worse than the World War II thing.
Yeah.
I was like, is this worse than implying that Hitler was the son of Hades? Might be. Because, like, this is also, like, even saying this feels like a gross misunderstanding of what the Underground Railroad even, like, does Rick know that the Underground Railroad was not underground?
What did Rick teach? Was it English or something?
I assume it had to have been English.
It had to have been. But even still, I feel like he should know as a grown man.
Just any time we make a historical event and we try to be like, this is because of mythology, it feels weird and wrong. And this one especially is just not it.
I can't believe I missed that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And you were making fun of me last time because I missed the kiss the first and second and third times I read it.
How do you miss that?
Thank you.
How?
Someone who was so obsessed with this series. Come on.
Someone had to tell me when I was in college, Erin, that it happened.
No. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
The critical reading skills.
Media literacy is at an all-time low.
It's at an all-time low. Open the schools. Or maybe just change the schools. The schools are I'm concerned about, honestly.
Child left behind.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't read, and that's why I have a podcast about books, so that I have to actually slow down and read the books.
So true.
Okay, moving on from the slightly horrifying historical reference here. Percy is... like, they're still keeping this plan sort of vague. Like, they never mention exactly what mortal and, like, but,
We know.
Yeah. And Annabeth really doesn't like this plan because, it's her quest. She's supposed to be the leader. And this ends with her telling Percy he's the most annoying person she's ever met and storming out, which, big flip from he's the bravest friend I ever had and crying her eyes out half an hour ago. And I kind of think that she should have hit him with the I wish you had stayed dead, because
Ooh.
cut him deep. Annabeth should be meaner.
Oof.
That would have been quite the dramatic twist. I kind of like it. As someone who says rash things, I would say that.
I love drama. I love angst.
I love angst.
Give it to me. Make this a soap opera.
Yeah, that would have been a great line. I would have eaten that up. Like, oh.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
I love teen angst specifically. I think sometimes
Yes.
adult angst, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, you guys are 30, get over yourselves. But with teen angst, it's so great. Like, I'm like, yes, your emotions are raw. You have feelings. And so, yeah, you're right. She should be meaner.
Yeah. Because teen angst, I feel like, is such a unique, like, a lot of times when you were a teenager, you were experiencing these things for the first time. Like, you were
Yeah.
experiencing your first crush, your first love, your first heartbreak. And so every single bit of it, like, feels like the end of the world because it's brand new. And so it's wild to watch.
Yeah.
And as an adult, it's pretty entertaining.
Right?
Yes, me with my one middle school relationship under my belt, and that's it. I have a lot of experience to laugh at other people's misfortune with relationships, because anyway, I kind of think, like, Percy doesn't tell us the whole plan, but I feel like he had to have mentioned to Annabeth exactly who he was thinking about calling to join them, because I don't know that she would have reacted quite as strongly if Rachel was not in the mix, because I mean, like you said, like, Annabeth likes this boy. She just kissed him. He went off with another girl for 2 weeks. And, like, okay, sure, great. He came back. He left this, like, beautiful goddess to come back to me. Okay, cool. That would make me feel pretty good. But then he's like, hey, I think we should get this other girl. And not only is it another girl, it's the same bitch who interrupted our date in chapter 1.
Yep.
Again, she only calls him annoying. I would say something I would regret.
Yeah. All he says is, I told them my idea. So, like, he could have said it. Like, he really could have. I imagine, based on her reaction, he probably was like, our great friend Rachel, who I love so much. Like, we should invite her. Like, Annabeth, you like her, right? And he probably just, like, dug the nail into the coffin. And she should have been meaner.
Yeah, he should have, because he's incredibly stupid
Yeah.
in this chapter. Like, incredibly stupid.
Mm-hmm. They even spell it out for him. Like, right after she leaves, Chiron's like, she's jealous. And Percy's like, does not compute. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
And Percy's like, well, that's crazy, because, like, we're not. And Chiron's like, well, she's territorial about her friends. Like, have you ever seen her behave like this about Grover?
Please,
About
no.
Thalia? No. And Chiron's like, and she's probably worked out where you were, because she's not an idiot. And then Chiron also has to tell Percy that he might want to check in with his mom, who he didn't think about her feelings once, even though on Calypso's Island, he was literally like, oh, my mom has always wanted to plant a garden, but, like, we don't have room in Manhattan. Where was the, like, oh my God, my mom, like, she's gonna think I'm dead. Like, he literally thought about his mom and didn't even think about how she would be feeling. Ugh, the way this boy just, like, constantly forgets about his mom stresses me out. Justice for Sally Jackson. It's hard enough raising a teenage boy, but, like, for him to be a demigod who could die at any time and then he never calls.
Traumatizing.
Mm-hmm. I need my mom to read this, and I need her to see just how easy I was. Like, I call all the time to be like, hey, Mom, I don't like this outfit. And hey, Mom, look at my lizard. And hey, Mom. Percy should call more often.
I agree, because he has a good relationship with his mom. So, like, why would you not? Yeah.
And then, much like the past week in real life, then it's just an endless string of bad news. We haven't heard from Grover and Tyson. And if Grover does come back, he will be forced into shameful exile, which is cool and fun.
Nice.
Then there's Chris Rodriguez, who has seemingly lost the will to live entirely, which of course is devastating to Clarice, but Julie, you do not care about that.
I don't care about Clarice, sorry.
I'm not a Clarice liker. Like, I don't get, I'm not a Clarice apologist.
Thank you.
I'm not.
See, I am.
I liked the interpretation in the show from the first book, but I'm not, like, based on the text here, she's a bully.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's Julie's exact argument.
I don't like bullies, Mal.
Look, okay. So, see, based on the text, I choose to interpret Clarice.
Incorrect.
You cannot tell me that Clarice is not a mean butch lesbian.
I can see that.
And I think part of the reason that she is mean is because she like internalized homophobia and things, and she like doesn't know who she is and hasn't accepted that part of herself. Like she's still trying to make this thing with Chris happen. Like you cannot convince me that she is actually interested in Chris. Like it feels to me like what I did growing up, where I was like, ah, yes, I'm going to choose this boy that I am friends with and I can imagine spending time around. And yes, that is the one that I am going to want to date. I don't know, I'm just like, I think because I see like I was never mean, but I see
Mhm.
kind of myself, I guess, in Clarice.
Mhm.
I'm like, that's why I'm a Clarice apologist. And so it's not actually to do with anything on the page, really. It's my own personal interpretation, but I love her. She's important to me.
I don't see you as Clarice at all. You're too good.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think I'm mean. I don't think I'm mean. But I also think the like figuring yourself out of it all that I have projected onto her, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I see you.
I'll give you that, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
Still don't like her.
No, that's fair. That's fine. But yeah, I'm just kind of when he was like, and Chris Rodriguez, I'm kind of like, oh no. Anyway, because like,
Yeah, I don't care about
okay,
no.
you cannot tell me that Clarice is interested in this man. Like, I do not believe it. Also, I don't really care about him. Anyway. And then also, more bad news. Quintus has disappeared into the labyrinth, which, you know, all but confirms Percy's suspicions that he is a spy for Luke. And also, he left Mrs. O'Leary behind, which sucks and
Mhm.
is kind of evil because
So mean.
if you're willing to leave your pet behind,
It's like those people that leave their like dogs
Mm-mm.
and stuff behind in like a natural disaster.
Literally, I cry to so many videos about that.
I hate that so much.
no, because
Mm-mm.
if Quintus is a spy for Luke, you know, then he knows that their plan is to invade camp. And so he's left his dog in a place that's about to be invaded?
Yeah,
Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely not.
evil.
And yeah, so Percy goes to visit Mrs. O'Leary and kind of check on her. Gets himself an absolutely nasty bath in dog slobber. He also finds Clarice there,
Ugh.
who says that the dog almost chewed her up, and I love that Percy just goes, well, she's an intelligent dog. Like, now that Clarice
Mhm.
doesn't actually have any power over him, and they're just kind of like mean to each other, but it's like we're just kind of mean to be mean. This is my favorite dynamic between the two of them because it's just like we hate each other, but also we're kind of on the same side, but also like I can't stand you, but also I would die for you. And so like it's fun. It's fascinating. I love this vibe. And, you know, because Percy's a good guy, he tells her he's sorry about Chris. And she says, well, that's what happens. Heroes get hurt, but monsters keep coming back. And Percy notes her use of the word hero for a guy who did kind of join the Titan army and says it kind of reminds him of the way Annabeth talks about Luke. And Clarice says that anyone who could make something like the Labyrinth is evil. So if they find Daedalus, they should just kill him, which, you know, is dark. But like she says, this is for real now, and practice time is over. And then we get another Daedalus dream, because, you know, we keep having those.
I hate this.
Really? Because I kind of think this one is iconic.
I hate this one. It's so gross. The bath scene is so gross to me.
Yes, I don't love that.
Yeah.
It made me very uncomfortable.
But okay, I'll just run through the dream real quick, just in case anyone is not familiar with the dream. But so Minos like offers a reward to anyone who can get a string through a shell, and so this king guy, Callis, is what I'm going with. He and his daughter show up and they're like, we've solved it. And so Minos knows that it has to be Daedalus who really solved it, but also, okay, come on. You're telling me that no one in the entire world could also have solved this. Like, it had to be Daedalus. No one else could have figured this out. But it's fine. Minos then kind of demands that they turn over Daedalus, and Cocalus agrees, but his daughters give Minos a bath. And it is, of course, a trap, and the daughters end up killing him in the bath. But I think it's kind of iconic. Like,
I love when women kill men.
yes,
That's
exactly.
I love it every time.
And I love that they're like, no, this is the first guy who has treated us like equals, that like women can learn just the same as men. So actually, no, we're not going to turn him over to you. Like, go off. Hell yeah.
Like that was fine. Like I like that, but like the bath, I was just like, ugh,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah, it being in the bath is not great.
I didn't like the implication there.
Yeah.
Didn't like that.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
the young girls bathing this grown man is not great. Not great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at least he's dead.
True.
Even though that doesn't make us free of him because well, yeah. Our little dream ends with Daedalus like showing up, thanking the girls for killing him, and then fleeing into the labyrinth, never to be seen again. And then our dream shifts and we once again have a Luke dream. And he's lost in the maze, but he assures the other half-blood he's with that Quintus is going to come through as soon as they make it through the arena. And then they're informed that there is a lone half-blood wandering in the maze. You hate to see it. And then it's morning, and Percy and Annabeth meet up to start their quest, and it's terrible vibes. It's terrible vibes. Number one, they aren't really talking, and when they do, it's Annabeth saying that she got a call from our old friend Eurydion back at the ranch, and Nico apparently left and went back into the maze, and he'd apparently been talking to Minos. And Percy's like, well, that's really not good, considering the dream that I just had about Luke finding a half-blood in the maze. But you know what? Even when they're fighting, he still like takes the information presented and turns to Annabeth and goes, "Okay, so what do we do?" Like the way he always looks to her to have the plan, even though he's the one with the plan right now. I love them.
I also don't think Percy is fully aware that they are fighting. Like, I don't think he's really figured that out yet. He's like, oh, well, we just had a weird moment yesterday and we're moving past it. But I don't think he knows the extent of the beef yet.
He's like, the vibes are
Yeah.
off. I don't know why,
Mhm.
but they're off. Then we get the Sally Jackson of it all. She gives him a big hug. He says it's only slightly less overwhelming than a hellhound jumping on you. She gives them cookies and they tell her what they've been up to while also trying to water down the really dangerous parts. And Sally then like makes a joke about him being willing to clean the stables but not his room, which makes Annabeth laugh, and Percy says it's the first time he's heard her laugh in a while, which is good to hear.
Oh,
And so I did go back in the book to try to figure out when the last time he heard Annabeth laugh was.
oh, wow. Research.
I know. I really put in the work. Unless I missed something, the last time he heard her laugh was all the way back in chapter 1 when he first ran into her, like fleeing the school. She kind of like laughs and tells him to watch where he's going. And that is the only time in this whole book he has said that Annabeth laughed. So if that is true, it really has been a while.
Having a rough time.
She's got
Mhm.
a lot going on.
Mm.
You know, speaking of what happened at school, Sally says that Paul will want to talk to Percy about what happened, and Percy offers to talk to him and even tell him the truth after he gets back from this quest. And then they explain their plan to Sally, and she talks a little bit about her own seeing through the mist abilities and makes them promise that they'll be safe. And Annabeth is back to being salty, I think, at the reminder of what the plan is. And she says, "We'll try, but keeping your son safe is a big job." And then she like glares out the window. And Sally is aware that they're fighting because she asks, "Have you two been fighting?" And they don't answer. And I gotta read this next bit because I just think it's incredibly funny. "I see," my mom said, and I wondered if she could see through more than just the mist. It sounded like she understood what was going on with Annabeth and me, but I sure as heck didn't.
Percy.
Perseus, everyone who has spent more than 2 minutes around the two of you know what's going on with you two. Like,
Yeah,
boys.
so dumb.
So clueless.
And like the fact that Chiron even explained it to him and he still doesn't get it. Oh my God.
They're all spelling it out for him. He just doesn't know how to read, so
Mm-mm.
Like the vibe in kind of within the fandom is that like, oh, Percy's so dumb, Percy's so silly, but he's really not. He's very smart and he's actually very emotionally intelligent, except for in this
Yep.
book when it comes to Annabeth.
Yep. I don't know if it's like he's in denial of the feelings or if he just like is just never seen a romantic, well, he's never really seen a romantic relationship before. Like his mom and what's his Gabe. Well, I guess Paul is around
Yeah.
now and Paul's good, but like he hasn't seen a lot of romantic relationships. Maybe he doesn't know what it looks like. I don't know. Poor baby.
Yeah, and I mean, he also, I feel like, didn't really have any friends before this whole adventure, like before he met Grover, before he met Annabeth. And so he might just be like, this is what being friends with a girl is. Like, this is what it's like to have a friend.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Oh, they're such a mess. And I love being on this roller coaster ride. And then, okay, to make matters worse, Percy goes off to call Rachel and says that she wrote her number on my arm, which, like, has washed off, but I accidentally memorized it.
Oh boy.
Because I'm sure that sometime in his sharing of the plan, he mentioned that to Annabeth, and that pissed her right off. Because memorizing someone's phone number feels crazy. And maybe it's because I only have like 4 phone numbers memorized. Like, I have my own phone number memorized, my mom's cell phone number, my family's like old landline, and then I have my grandparents' old landline memorized.
Yep.
Like, I don't even have my own extension at work memorized.
I don't either.
Like, I have to look it up every time. So,
Same. To look at my signature, my email signature every time. Like, what is it? I
yes.
don't remember it. Yeah. Yeah, I think I just have like my parents and my partner. I don't even think I have my sisters memorized. Like, I just don't have to memorize numbers anymore.
Yeah, like if you ever took away my contacts, I'm screwed. I could call my mom and that's about it.
You'll never hear from me again. Like nobody, I'll lose all my friends.
I also, like, I don't have any of my passwords memorized. I just rely on like Google Chrome to do that for me. So
Mhm.
if someone ever took away my technology, I would be useless because I have nothing memorized. Julie, do you have numbers memorized?
I have my mom's, my house like home phone. And then I know my sister's number only because our numbers are almost identical except for the last 2.
Ah, that makes it easy.
So I'm like, okay, I remember.
Yeah, my parents have the like identical, but like one number is off, and that's probably the only reason I can remember them that well, honestly.
That was my parents too. And then my dad got a new phone. He just didn't keep his same number. And I was like, why didn't you? Because my mom kept the same number and they were literally just the last 2 digits were literally just transposed. And I was like, that was so nice. I don't know my dad's phone number now, but I still
Mhm.
remember my mom's.
I have no idea what my father's phone number is, but also I never call my father. He really just calls me occasionally to be like, hey, so can you pay for your own Netflix now? And I'm like, oh, okay. That did happen a couple weeks ago. So
Oh my God.
huge news. I'm an adult now
You have your own
and I
Netflix?
have to pay for my own Netflix.
Did you just get off your parents' health insurance too?
Sure did.
Damn. Nice.
What's a bigger adulting step? Getting your own Netflix or getting off your parents' health insurance?
Don't they like kick you off at 26? Isn't that
Yep.
was that the last straw for you? You had to wait it out? Yeah.
That was, yep. And here we are, adulting.
Proud of you, Mal.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really making moves. I'm really being an adult. And now we should get back to talking about a children's book.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the next thing that happens is we go to meet Rachel. I mean, we don't really get a whole lot of details about the phone call, but they agree to meet Rachel in Times Square, of all places.
Wild decision.
At the Marriott Marquis.
The hellish hotel.
The Marriott Marquis is a great place to pee, like if you're in Midtown and you have nowhere else to go. But the fact that New Yorker Percy Jackson does not complain at all about having to go to Times Square, like, come on, there's a joke right there about, like, this is the worst place I've ever had to go for a quest, and I've been to the underworld. Come on, it's right there.
That's how you know Rick is not a
Right.
New Yorker.
Yeah.
Well, and I can't even really call myself a New Yorker, but I don't know anyone who lives here who is happy to be in Times Square at any time.
I've only been to New York once, and the part that I was in Times Square for was awful. So like it's no even tourists don't like it.
Well, except for apparently my parents,
Mm.
anytime they come to visit, they insist on staying in Times Square, and it drives me crazy. Like, there's so many better parts of the city that are cleaner and less crowded and less full of people walking 2 miles an hour. Like, this is an anti-Times Square podcast.
That's good.
Do not make me go to Times Square.
I mean, I can't say anything because every time I visit you, I stay at Penn Station, but that's for practicality reasons.
But that's not Times Square. That's not
Mm.
Times Square. That's just conveniently located and close to the train.
So I don't have to take all my crap on the subway.
There's one exception to the anti-Times Square, and that is that I really just want to get a group of people and I want to go get trash at the Times Square Applebee's sometime, but that's a separate thing.
Remember when we went to Olive Garden?
Yes.
That was the time.
Yes. The Times Square Olive Garden, also good. Like, if you're going to Times Square for the bit, then it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you like actually have to get somewhere like through Times Square, or you just like go to Times Square, it's like
Nightmare.
this is not it. This is not it. So Rachel Elizabeth Dare, a queen, an icon.
Yeah.
Love her.
Mm-hmm.
Painted entirely gold and performing as a human statue to raise money for art for kids.
Again, so queer coded. Like, girl.
So queer coded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Raising money for art, being an artist, queer coded. Also, I'm a big fan of the way that Annabeth immediately suggests that they push her over.
Same. I love that.
Just the energy that she is immediately bringing into this interaction is negative. And I love it. They don't, in fact, push Rachel over. And she eventually unfreezes and they go to a coffee shop. And Rachel immediately calls Annabeth Annabelle. Do we think this was intentional? Because I kind of think it might be.
No.
I want it to be for the drama.
I don't.
I want it to be intentional for the drama.
Well, remember in the beginning when I kept calling her Annabelle?
Yes.
I was like, Annabelle, and you're like, no.
You're just like, no, Rachel's just real for that.
Yeah.
Not being able to remember her made-up name.
Yeah.
You're like, it's relatable.
I actually did go to school with an Annabeth.
Really? I've never met an Annabeth in the wild.
Yeah, I just knew the one. I kind of think it's funny if it was intentional. Just because I know Rachel heard her say, what if we push her over? So she's gotta match the energy.
Annabeth did not whisper that. Like, she said it loudly.
Yeah.
No. Oh, Rachel heard it. And then, you know, it's kind of iconic the way Rachel asks Annabeth if she's a half-blood too, and Annabeth's like, shh, not so loud. Like, and then Rachel stands up and tells the entire coffee shop that, hey, these two, their parents are Greek gods. Like, that's funny. And also, it's New York City. Like, New Yorkers are so used to just minding their own business. Like, these people have seen two crazier things on the train ride on the way to this coffee shop. Like, this is nothing. This is Tuesday in New York.
People mind their own business.
Because, yeah, nobody even reacts. Yeah, she sits down and she goes, they don't seem to care. And I just imagine she says it kind of in that tone of voice, like, they don't seem to care. Like, I'm picturing Rachel really matching Annabeth's energy with this whole interaction, which makes me love her more.
I love her so much.
Yeah, same.
It just makes it one of the most iconic interactions of all time, because then immediately after this, Percy like apologizes to Rachel for the band room and says he hopes that they didn't give her too much of a hard time. And Rachel's like, oh no, they just asked me a bunch of questions and I played dumb. And Annabeth freaking Chase goes, was it hard?
It's so good.
I like actually quote that line like regularly. Like, I will quote that line just in response to things like, was it hard? That's how I imagine her just like saying it so snotty.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Actually, my greatest fear about the TV show adaptation is that we get to season 4 and they decide to remove the Rachel Annabeth beef. Because yes, we as a society have like progressed past the desire to see like two women fight over a man. But also, this is funny.
I have a desire to see it. I think it's funny. I think it's real to like being 16 and having feelings for someone and not knowing if it's reciprocated and not knowing if the other person has feelings. Like, I think it's like very real because they're like kids and they don't know how to regulate their emotions. And I think I'm a fan. I think it works narratively.
No, I love it. Like, this is not girl behavior.
Yeah.
But I think a little girl on girl crime should be allowed when it's funny. And this is funny.
Well, I think too, it's like adds some depth to Annabeth's character. And like my fear with the show is that they're gonna make her just like holy, the way that a lot of female characters in TV adaptations lose a lot of their nuance and just become like badass heroine. But it's like, Annabeth also cries a lot and she's kind of a bitch to Rachel. Like, she's not like she's a 15-year or 16-year-old in this. Like, she's not gonna be a badass, amazing human all the time. And that makes me like her more because I too am not an amazing human all the time. Allegedly. Yeah.
Like, I was 15 I also like I was mean to other girls. I cried a lot. I still cry. Like
Like I actually haven't changed, yeah.
representation for the criers is so important. Yeah. Like I one of my favorite things about Annabeth is just that she's allowed to have flaws, and
Yeah.
Percy still is absolutely obsessed with her. Like she gets to have flaws. She doesn't have to be this perfect girl to like still be the hero and still just I love it. Give me 14 of them. And I think, as long as you read it as Rachel giving it right back, it doesn't seem like Annabeth is a bully in this situation. Like we're just kind of both. We're matching the energy. We're both being kind of bitchy here, and
Yeah, I think Annabeth she doesn't seem like a bully. She just seems like she does not know how to handle her own emotions. And I think that's pretty real for being that age.
well, because she's not upset with Rachel at all. She's upset with Percy,
Mhm.
but doesn't know what to do with that. And, sometimes I wish that I could say, like, no, 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 it's different. This is not just like girls fighting over a boy. Like, you could bring up her abandonment issues and the fact that, like, everyone who has ever loved her has, like, left her behind, kind of except for Percy. And she's, like, been waiting for this quest. And all of a sudden, the one person who has consistently believed in her is like, hey, I actually think you're not the right person to lead this quest and we need to go get someone else. Like, yeah, all these things are true. But the second you kind of ask yourself like, would she be acting like this if Percy had suggested that they get help from a guy? It makes it kind of clear that like, yeah, this is just because this is a girl that she perceives as a threat to her romantic relationship. And like, that's fine. That's great, in fact. But I just think I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, we could search for deeper meaning here.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think there is a deeper meaning there. I would agree.
Once again,
That would be
we
fun.
could also root for them to ditch Percy entirely and just fall in love with each
So
other.
true. I think it would work with their personalities. I think it would work.
Nice enemies to lovers, maybe. I would like that.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, because Rachel kind of has a similar energy in my mind to Percy, like a bit more chaotic and sassy.
Hmm.
And so I don't know. I think they're compatible. Annabeth could go either way, really. Like there's there's a vibe either way, you know?
Our
Yeah.
girl has options.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she does, and I love that for her. Well, because listen, in order to be a true love triangle, like you gotta connect the like otherwise it's just a love V. You gotta connect
Mhm.
Rachel and Annabeth. Now it's a triangle and now we're cooking.
Mhm.
All right. Almost at the end here. Rachel ends up agreeing very quickly to go on this quest, and Percy's kind of like, huh, I didn't think it would be that easy, but she says her summer was going to be boring, and this is the best option she's been given, as if this is like summer camp or something. Love her. She's wild for that. I think you're right on it with this. She has a lot of chaotic energy to her.
Yeah.
She also happens to know where an entrance to the labyrinth is located because there just so happens to be one in the hotel basement.
Of course.
And now I'm actually like I'm wondering, does the Marriott Marquis actually have a basement, and can I go there to see if there's an entrance to the labyrinth?
You should. You should go. They probably store stuff there.
Can I access the basement? Probably not. It's probably not accessible to the public.
You'd have to get a job there first just to do this.
Get a part-time job as like a maid or something.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Just to go into the basement of the Marriott Marquis.
Mhm.
Exactly.
And then quit like immediately after.
Yeah, exactly. I'm applying for this job just to access your basement.
Mhm.
Don't ask why, it's not weird.
No reason.
Anyway, it's all coming together. We have absolutely rancid vibes between our new questing trio, truly iconic teenage relationship happening, and that's the end of 13. So, next time we've got 14 and 15. So, Julie, do you have any predictions about those two?
I have to be honest. I did read 14 already. I forgot. I thought we were doing 2 chapters because that's what we usually do. And I totally forgot.
Right, yeah. Oops. Okay. So,
To make some really accurate predictions, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, actually, I actually have a few predictions for chapter 14.
No, you should have kept your mouth shut and you should have been like, well,
Yeah.
actually, God, what's that guy's name? Should have been like, so I think Percy's gonna duel this guy
Yeah.
and it's gonna great.
Anyway, sorry about that. Listen, it's been a crazy week, okay? And I had a crazy day at work, and so yeah, that's my excuse.
If this is the worst thing that happens
Yeah.
related to this podcast, like we're doing pretty well.
Fine. It's fine. I will make a prediction for chapter 15 though.
Perfect.
So chapter 15 is we steal some slightly used wings. So my loser prediction is just that they find Daedalus and they use his wings because they can't use Icarus's wings because I presume they went down with Icarus. So
Yeah, see, that's the one that's really got a more obvious prediction. Dang. 14, I was really hoping you were gonna predict something to do with Tyson, but
did I write that?
it's fine.
I can't remember if I made a prediction for 14 last time. No, I guess I didn't.
Final thing for you to make a prediction
Okay.
about. Are Rachel and Annabeth going to make it out of this alive, or will they kill each other?
If Rachel dies, I am not finishing this book. I want you to know. I will be so upset because she's my favorite character so far.
This is Redhead Solidarity?
Yes. Yes. That's actually in my notes
Mhm.
for chapter 14. I wrote Redhead Solidarity. I literally that's part of my notes. I love her.
I'm very excited that we are getting more Rachel. I love her.
She's so fun.
She's an icon.
Great character.
Just great. Like I feel like now we have pretty much everyone. Like everything is coming together. You know, like all the people, and it's my master plan is it's all coming together. All right. Well, Erin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. It's a good way to end the week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
after a wild, wild week.
Always fun to turn back to the comfort novels and children's literature, really.
Sometimes you need to escape.
Oh yes, because you're way beyond this.
Yeah, it's
now.
nice to be back in this. I'm like, Rick's used to write long chapters. He's gotten a little slack, honestly, on his chapter lengths, among many things.
Yeah, I don't really mind the shorter chapters, but some of the other things. Oh, I completely forgot. Julie, sorry about the Yankees. We haven't been on since the World Series.
Okay, we don't need to talk about it. Okay. I've suffered enough.
I'm
A
sorry.
lot's
Okay.
happened in the world.
I've
Yeah.
suffered enough.
Yeah, it's
It's
been...
loss after loss.
Yeah, you're right.
See, I'm from Seattle, so like Mariners, we're just loss is just like part of watching baseball here.
But you guys do have a beautiful park.
We do. It's so nice. It's so fun. It's great to go to for a game. Don't expect them to win, but like it's a great time to like get some food and watch the sunset.
Well, this has been lovely. Every other podcast has such a nice like exit thing, and I'm just kind of like, okay, that's all.
The end. Bye.
That's all, folks. Be nice to someone this week, cause God, we need it.
So true.
My parting words are fuck Donald Trump. That's
Good.
all I have to say.
Yes.
Good
Yeah.
parting
Yeah.
words. Great place to leave it.
Great.
See you next time for 14 and 15. Hi, thanks for listening. We completely forgot to have Erin share all her info and things, but you can find her on social media at Camp Half Pod, and you can listen to her podcast, Camp Half Pod, wherever it is you are listening to this. As always, you can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Threads at Demigod Debut Pod. And if you liked what you heard, please drop us a review wherever you're listening. Now that the marathon is over, we are moving back to episodes every week, so we will see you next week for some more Battle of the Labyrinth. Bye!